Adam and Divya from Momentive, the makers of SurveyMonkey, and we're super excited to give you an inside look at our concept testing solution today. I'm Divya, a senior product marketing manager here at Momentive, where I work on marketing and building new products in the market research space. Concept testing just being one of many solutions that I work on here at Momentive. Prior to this, my experience has been both on the client side as an insights professional at Constellation Brands, which is a leading beverage alcohol company, as well as in various roles on the research agency side at Nielsen Bases. And I'm also joined by Adam today, who owns our concept and creative testing solutions here at Momentive. He actually developed and launched our concept testing solution a few years ago. So, what you're going to be seeing today is all of his hard work in action.
Hi, everyone.
All right, let's start with why we're all here today. It's because, in some way or the other, we're all trying to drive company growth. And research from McKinsey actually found that when it comes to company growth, there are really three different dimensions to it. The first is growing through investing, which is all about doubling down on existing high growth activities at your company. The second is growth through the creation of new products and services. And the third is growth by optimizing the performance of your core commercial capabilities, things like sales and marketing. And most companies really pursue multiple strategies for growth, not just a single one. And among these companies, what they found was that those which focus on creating new products and services actually grow much faster than their peers, as you can see in the chart on the left. And in fact, more than 25% of total revenue and profits, as you can see in the chart on the right, come from the launch of new products. No wonder that when companies look to future growth and planning, a majority of executives expect it to come from creating new products, new services, or business models. Yet, over 50% of product launches fail to hit their business targets. And this is something that McKinsey saw across industries, regardless of how complex the product was that was being launched, regardless of how much was being spent on that launch, as well as the average frequency with which a company launched products. None of those factors correlated with the higher rate of launch success. So, what is it that truly matters when it comes to launching a product successfully? Their research identified a specific set of core capabilities, including team collaboration, strategy and planning, and my favorite, which is all about incorporating market insights. As you can see from this chart, incorporating market insights into product development and launch has a significant impact on successful launches across most industries. A successful and differentiated product development strategy requires a solid understanding of your market, your consumer, as well as your competition. And the best companies go beyond surface level data to try and uncover insights into their specific target market. And that's where we come in. We offer agile insight solutions across the entire product and brand lifecycle. This slide here is just a snapshot of some of our solutions for innovation, product, and campaign development. And what we're going to be talking about today is our concept testing solution. Our concept testing solution allows you to build successful products faster with agile consumer feedback. We help you test concepts with your ideal audience so you can identify, optimize, and validate your concepts before launch, often in less than an hour. No joke, the fastest project I've run took under 55 minutes from start to end. Our solution includes a built-in monadic research design, although we do offer sequential monadic methodology as well. It also includes access to our global respondent panel, as well as a host of analysis features such as AI-powered insights, key drivers analysis, benchmarks, and more. to make it easy for you to get the deep insights that you need to make important product decisions. But instead of me spending any more time just talking about this, let's switch over to Adam and let's take a look.
Cool. Thanks, Divya. Thanks for all that info. Hi, everyone. I'm Adam. I'm just going to give you a quick walkthrough of our concept testing solution. Before I get into that, for the purposes of the demo, I'm just going to use a scenario just to kind of set the stage of what's included in this demo. So let's just assume for this demo that we're Johnny Walker, which is a very popular brand of Scotch whiskey. And you've gone through rounds of ideation, screening, focus groups, and I've identified that you want to launch a new sustainable bottle for their black label whiskey. So before bringing it to market, you want to run a quick concept test to validate how well the new package stacks up against our current pack and how our existing brand buyers perceive it. So here we'll be showing two concepts that we tested against. Again, we're cheating a little bit and ran through a lot of the early stage testing, getting to the idea that we want to test or launch a new sustainable bottle. But let's pretend we're going to market and we're going to just find out against the existing Johnny Walker Black Label how well the new one fared, which is a recyclable paper-based spirits bottle. So bear with me while I just pull up the demo here. So I'm diving right into a project that we had set up, which is using our concept testing solution. The first step is essentially where you're going to identify what stimuli or what concepts you're going to be testing. So here I've uploaded the two new package designs along with some descriptions of the concepts themselves to provide a bit more context to my respondents. So because I'm doing concept testing, I just uploaded some images, but you do have the option to use a variety of different media types. There'll be text, image, video, or even a combination of all three. So you do have the flexibility to tailor how your stimuli gets presented to your respondents for testing. I've only added two here, but again, if this was earlier stages in the design, in the life cycle, I would have probably put in a bunch more, narrowed it down to these two. So you have the flexibility to throw in a lot more stimuli here for testing. Down here is where you identify the number of respondents that we want to complete this study. For here, I put in 400. As Divya mentioned, this solution uses a monadic survey design, or in other words, a single stimuli exposure to the respondent. So each respondent will only see one stimuli, answer a series of questions. This typically gets used in the process a little later, sometimes the mid to late in the development cycle for new products, just add a bit more rigor to design, more high quality responses, a little more flexibility in the survey. But we do offer solutions to do sequential monadic testing, meaning multiple stimuli. So each respondent could see basically both of these and answer the same series of questions. So the next step is where you're going to identify your target audience for this study. So as Divya mentioned, we do use our global panel, which consists of over 175 million respondents from over 130 countries, from over 60 different languages that we have access to. So quite the extensive reach with high quality responses that we have integrated with and we can collect for you to help you get the results that you're looking for this study. So up front, you get to select from a variety of different criteria. So whether it's country, gender, age, income, a lot more very specific targeting criteria and categories that you could choose from by opening up this modal, getting into very specific niche audiences from either more generalized to very niche. B2B audiences are also very, very much available. You also have the option to add in a variety of screening questions. Again, if you want to tailor how you're screening out and getting narrowed down on the right audience, you have the flexibility to use our targeting criteria and or the screening questions. All right, the next step. Again, these solutions are meant to be purpose-built in the sense that you're not building these surveys from scratch. So when you're coming to the survey section, you're not building the survey, you're actually just defining some of the main criteria for the methodology we've already kind of set up for you behind the scenes. It's somewhat templated, but you have the flexibility to customize it as you see fit. So again, trying to get you set up and running these tests very quickly to get to your results, making those decisions quicker. So the first section is just you have the option to put in some instructions, putting a bit of a preamble in case you want to provide context to your respondents before they're exposed to the stimuli and answering those questions. We also provide a series of pre-built industry standard questions for concept testing, product development. These can range from things from purchase intent, uniqueness, overall appeal. We offer a question bank of over 30 different questions that you could easily select from. You have the ability to change some of the labeling, order it as you see fit. And if any of these attributes or measures don't really match up to what you typically use or are accustomed to, you do have the ability to create your own custom ones. And these attributes will be placed right in front of respondents next to your stimuli. So they're the key questions that you're looking to measure against the stimuli, which you'll then be comparing against each stimuli in the analysis. You also have the option to add in a comparison question or a head-to-head question. So in this case, because it's a monadic design, each respondent sees one stimuli, answers a series of questions. In this case, at the end of the survey, respondent will be then shown both stimuli and then ask them overall which one would they choose. So it gives you another data point to see how successful, which one's resonating most overall. Again, speaking to the customization, you do have the option to then add in custom questions either prior to stimuli exposure or following stimuli exposure, giving you the flexibility to get to ask more questions on brand awareness, purchase history, or just simply trying to collect more demographic information, which then you could use later on in your analysis as you're doing your various data cuts. At the bottom here, this is where you can define if you're interested in assessing your own data against our Momentive's industry benchmarks. So these benchmarks are as data that the Momentive market research team had aggregated by essentially looking at what are some of the top products and or brands within various industries, basically testing against those products and or stimuli that's already in market, aggregating the data and creating a benchmark. So then when you're assessing to see how well your own concepts score against each other, you could also see how well you stack up to some of the top brands and products already in market to see where the gaps are or if you're exceeding expectation. So another great data point to help you reference as you're making some of those important decisions. The last step then, again, very simple, just a handful of steps, is just showing you the preview of the survey, what it's going to look like to your respondents. So here, again, you saw I added in some custom questions, brand awareness, consumption in the past 3 months. I'm just going to rifle through here. And then here, I could even test to see what this is going to look like on mobile devices. So you see my stimuli up the front here, and then some of my attribute questions below. You also see 2 tabs. So if I ran through the same survey in the second tab, you'll see that I'll see the second stimuli, a different set of respondents will be running through that survey. And that's it. Last step is essentially launching your project, your study. As soon as you launch, we'll begin fielding immediately. You'll be able to start seeing the responses in real time in the analysis as they're coming in. And again, one of the big values that you get from these solutions is our speed. So as Divya already mentioned, we could get the responses in some cases, depending on the complexity of your targeting criteria. In some cases, we could get it in under an hour. I've seen actually a handful of projects have done the same thing. It's not uncommon, but usually under an hour to a couple hours is a good average for a typical concept test to get the number of responses that we're looking for this study. In this case, we said we have it as an estimated delivery date of tomorrow. Tend to be a bit conservative in our estimations because we want to set the right expectations, but in a lot of cases, we do kind of exceed this and get this done quicker. Cool. So that would be on the setup flow. Now I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to move over to now the analysis where I've already collected the responses for this project. So in the middle section here, you're going to see a scorecard. So for those who are familiar with doing concept testing in the past, you may have seen some output like this for doing this type of study. But essentially in the scorecard, you're going to see a column that represents each of the stimuli that I tested. So the old black label bottle against the new one. Each row represents the different attribute questions that I asked. So my purchase intent question, uniqueness. So this allows me to do the easy comparisons against the results for each of the stimuli. We're also narrowing down, showing you the top 2 box score. You have the option to also switch over to the bottom 2 box. And we also highlight any statistical significance that we find in the results. So providing more confidence that the results that we're showing are not by chance and something that are more reflective of your target audience. You do have the ability to customize the confidence level for this. We default to 95%, but you could go as high as 99 and bring it down to 80% as you see fit. So just taking a look at the results, as you can see, we see a good amount of statistical significance and higher directional results in the new black label, which is very promising. Kind of makes sense. This is a real scenario. This is already something that went to market. So we kind of think that the people over at Johnny Walker did their due diligence and they knew this was going to perform well. But again, a lot of the visual attributes seem to have stood out. And actually affordability even stood out too. So overall, the new bottle design is looking good. But again, I'm looking fairly general across the entire audience that I targeted. It's always important to look a little bit deeper into data to make some more decisions based off of that. And that's where our key drivers analysis can actually help get a little bit more narrowed and closer in on the data. So for those who are not as familiar, key driver analysis, all it does is effectively tries to identify from the attributes that you tested, which ones have the most impact and correlation to willingness to meet your objective or what you're looking for to drive for with this particular test. So as an example here, basically at the end of the day, with this new bottle, I want people to buy the new bottle with the same product. So what this is going to show me from those attributes, which ones are contributors to people's willingness to purchase that. To summarize the results, effectively, anything on the top part of the axis means it is important. It does play a factor in someone's willingness to purchase it. Anything below means it's less important or not important. So in this case, because I'm not really iterating on the design, the main takeaway from here is, are there any red flags, any big things, differentiation between the old bottle and the new one? And the good news for this is that there was a lot of similarities between the two. If I flip between, I'm looking at the new bottle correlation, key driver analysis. If I switch over to the current, we're seeing a lot of the two of the same attributes on the top part. The one benefit is that we actually see quality is actually a higher driver, which is great, and it scored well. So it's a good plus for the new bottle design. If I scroll down, you're going to see the results for all those individual custom questions that we put in. So again, my brand awareness question, my purchase history question. Again, I could use this to assess how people responded to my study based on these data points. We also provide individual scorecards for each of the attributes that you tested against. Again, we have the summary scorecard, and here, if you want to get more granular, you can look at those. I hid some of the other scorecards just so I'm not just repeating myself, and just wanted to flip over to my open-ended questions in which we display in word cloud format. So you get to highlight the most common words or short phrases that came out of those open-ended responses. I also have the option to see the list version of this, seeing the percentages of those responses. Now, just quickly, I'm looking at the data across my entire analysis, but I also have the option to narrow it down if I'm looking to do different data cuts. So that could be by demographic criteria that I have here, very simple. I could do it based on the questions that I've added in my survey. I could even create more advanced filters, which uses Boolean logic, combining multiple data cuts into one segment to do the assessment there. But that could take quite a bit of time. So this is where we offer our AI-powered insights. Our AI-powered insights are effectively machine learning, then parse through all of your data to highlight which groups and subgroups within your data each of the concepts either scored well or did not score well with. So right now I'm looking at all the insights that we extracted from this particular project to highlight which groups either things went well or didn't. I'm just going to narrow it down, look at the ones that scored well. If I look at, for example, the new label, the new bottle design scored well with males and those who have purchased or consumed Woodford Reserve in the last 3 months. If I apply this filter, we'll update all of the scorecards, all the data analysis now to reflect this group. And then if I go to the top here, we'll see all the results. We see a bit more statistical significance, higher results for this particular group, which makes sense because things went well with this group. So it's a good piece of the data that now you could use to make a decision moving forward on whether you want to do anything with this particular group. If you're going to present it from a supplier distribution standpoint, you know who you should be targeting as again, with this one particular example. But there's a couple others in here that we also extracted. So very useful information to save you time from finding this on your own by parsing through all that data. Just very quickly, just to wrap it up, you do have the ability to export this data to raw formats, but you also have the option to create a pre-built customizable PowerPoint presentation. So if I pull this up here, this is an example of the export. You get a summary of your test. You get a reference to the stimuli you tested against, all the scorecards, all the data visualizations, and they're fully customizable. So you could customize this as you see fit, apply your brand look and feel, remove any of the data. You can manipulate this as you see fit before you go to your stakeholders. So making it very easy for once you launch, you get the data immediately, and you also have a deliverable you can provide to your stakeholders pretty much immediately. Okay, now that's more or less it what I want to show for the demo. So I'm going to switch back over to our slide deck here. And so obviously I'm the product manager, so I could be a bit biased. So I'm going to let some of our customers actually speak on behalf of how valuable a solution like this has been for them. So for example, Sakura, which is a 100-year-old instrument and art material company. You might know them as the maker of the original jelly pen, or jelly roll pen, rather. So my wife is actually an elementary school teacher. So I think we have like a seemingly endless supply of these in my basement. And she has a strange obsession with these. They are great pens if you haven't used them, but my wife is quite the fan. Most of Sakura's R&D takes place in Japan, where they were founded. But what they found was consumer preferences in Japan can differ significantly from those that are in other parts of the world. So Casey Roberts, who is the senior marketing manager of innovation and consumer insights, is working to help ensure that Sakura of America is focusing on their efforts on things that have traction with a rapidly evolving U.S. consumer. So she used our concept testing solution to get unbiased data. She needed to back up her gut feeling that a $100 pen, which was flying off the shelves in Japan, would be viewed as too expensive by US consumers. So soon after convincing her team to hold back on the launch, she used the same solution to find something that would sell in the US, which was a new to the market type of ink and its corresponding product components. So the insight she gathered with Momentive in just a few days helped Sakura quickly pivot and avoid a bad investment. So it's a really great story with a great outcome for Sakura. Just really want to highlight that one. And I know we're running a bit short on time, so I'm going to skip over this slide, but here's just a few other examples I was going to touch on, but like I said, I think I'll move forward and I will hand it back over to Divya.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam. I want to make sure we have some time for some questions that I see have come through in the chat, so we can answer them live. So just to quickly wrap up, I want to share our capabilities with you. Hopefully you saw the power of our concept testing solution in that amazing demo from Adam, and you saw how Black Label was easily able to identify that the new packaging was strong enough to launch in market. But what we're trying to do here at Momentive is to be that one platform for all of your market research needs. Now, what you saw today was our concept testing solution, but we also have a host of other product experience solutions across a number of different needs. Whether you're looking to optimize products and use conjoint analysis, max diff, launch a product and try to figure out what the price point for that should be, we offer Van Westendorp, package testing, claims testing, and more. And apart from that, we also have solutions to help you uncover any market insights, so help identify who the right target audience might be, what some shopper insights might be, segment your existing customers, to track your brand health after you've launched in market, brand lift analysis on any sort of ad campaign you might be running, so on and so forth. So we've got a number of different solutions here, but really what makes these solutions so powerful, apart from the fact that they're easy and intuitive to use and extremely quick, is that they're built on top of our AI-powered insights platform. Now, this platform contains different technology components that we've built in a modular way so that they can be easily incorporated into every single one of our solutions. So you saw AI-powered insights in action and concept testing today that Adam shared. But really, we've got similar built-in methodologies, automated insights, statistical analysis models that are all powered by machine learning and AI that we've built into our portfolio of solutions across various market research needs. And all of this is powered by our global panel network, which includes 175 million people across more than 130 countries. And this really feeds the responses directly into our platform, which is what allows us to deliver high quality responses on demand. And this one slide, if there's one slide you're walking away with, hopefully this is a good snapshot that just talks about our company and all of the needs that we're able to solve for, and how we go about doing that. But that's really what we wanted to share with you here today. We can now open it up to any questions that have come in the chat, or any other questions that you have for us today.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. It was fantastic. It looks like we do have a question that came in. So this question, I'll leave it up to you guys to decide who wants to answer. But it says, is there a chance to have a benchmark per country or is it global?
Sure, I could tackle that one. So it's a great question. So for a clarification, the benchmarks, the industry benchmarks that we offer today are strictly US based. That being said, we do have options for working within individual customers who have very specific needs, whether it's specific industries, specific countries, where we could actually use our market research team who help to source these benchmarks and build a custom benchmark for you. So we do have options, whether it's utilizing our existing ones that come with the solution or generating benchmarks for you, or also we can work with you on how we can conduct tests and basically start to effectively build your own benchmark with your own data that you could then leverage and reference over time.
Awesome. Thank you. And kind of running into another question here. Can we run concept tests with our own customers or do we have to use your panel?
Great question. So I know we focused our conversation on using our global panel. We do have a lot of customers and the primary use case is to do so. But we have had examples of customers asking for this. So the quick answer is yes, you can test against your own panel. You also have the option to test against your own panel and our global panel. So we do have some customers who have existing product lines. They want to see how things are resonating with their own users, but then they want to get a feel for how the general market is feeling. So those options are both available to you.
Awesome. And this is a bit of a broader question, and correct me if I'm wrong from the audience side, but my understanding of this is what types of questions are key to understanding the relevance of the concept. So leave that one.
Yeah, I can probably take that, and then Adam, feel free to add on, of course. I think when it comes to trying to understand whether your concept is relevant or not, it really comes down to who your target audience is and what the objective of that test is. So the test that Adam shared today, it was really to make sure that consumers are going to buy the product once it's in market. So purchase intent was probably one of the most important metrics that we looked at in that Black Label test. But depending on the product and what role it's going to play in your portfolio, that could differ, right? We recently ran a test with different soda flavors where one of the important metrics we looked at was how refreshing do you think this is going to be? Because that brand was all about refreshment. They wanted to make sure that the new flavors they launch align with that brand equity and what they stand for in the market. But apart from that, we also include a standard question which asks, how well do you think this product would meet your needs? So that's typically pretty standard to include a question like that in any concept testing solution to try and understand how relevant it would be for the audience you're actually testing that concept with. But again, because we offer us the ability to really customize your attributes, add new questions, add new attributes, it really is up to you. But we would definitely recommend including questions such as purchase intent or, how well would this meet your needs? Questions like that in your test. Adam, anything to add?
Yeah, no, that was a great answer, probably better than what I was going to answer. But I guess another simplistic way to add on to that was if you do ask a relevancy question as part of your test, maybe flipping the framing of how you approach that and looking at who is this relevant to. So adding in that general question to then better understand if you're going after a broader audience rather than trying to understand if it's relevant, more understanding who is it relevant. So when you get into your analysis, you look at some of those different data cuts, you may find this is more relevant for people with certain purchase behaviors or brand awareness or different demographic criteria. And again, a simple answer to that too is if you want people to elaborate on why they chose the answer they did, open-ended questions are generally to get more qualitative feedback is always generally very helpful. But I think Debbie's answer was a bit better. Hopefully what I provided was a bit more helpful.
And we are running out here on time, so I think we probably have time for one more question. But if you have any additional questions for the Momentive team after this, definitely reach out. There should be a booking link on the description, so make sure to check that out. And if you think of any other questions, they're happy to get with you and talk to you about it. So to finish it off, and we might have already touched on this, but just want to circle back to Jen's question here. It says, does Momentive offer the option to have a consultant program the survey and provide the report of results?
Yes, the short answer is yes. We have a team of consultants that can help with anything you need, whether it's running the project, survey design and programming, preparing custom results, deliverables, translating your survey to other languages if you're trying to launch in other markets. Yeah, we have a team of services experts who are really able to support any needs that you have on your test.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for such a thorough and interesting conversation. Really appreciate everybody being here today and hope to catch you next time. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks very much. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.